Hello friends, so today we are going to see the topic transistor as a switch and unijunction transistor. This is our topic under the chapter study of transistor. So see, transistor as a switch. So we know that electronic switch is the device which can turn on or off the current in electrical circuit. And the transistor can be used as a switch by driving it back and forth between saturation region and cutoff region. So we already know that if it is a power supply and this is a switch, and let us consider here the lamp is connected. So when this switch is closed, the current will flow through the circuit and the light will glow. And if this is open as it is shown, that is when switch is off, the circuit disconnects and no current flows from positive terminal of battery to the negative in the circuit. So now here we see the switch. Now instead of a normal switch, we are going to see how transistor can work as an electrical switch, that we are going to see. So see, this is here you see transistor as a switch, and the first step, it is a off state. So we know that this is a transistor, that is NPN type. Here it is emitter, base and collector. This is the battery connected between base and emitter, and this is between base and collector. So we know that a proper functioning of transistor, that battery which is the terminal VBE should be connected such that emitter base junction will be forward bias and base collector junction should be reverse bias. So here we know that in N type of material, majority charge carriers are electrons, and when these electrons are repelled by the electrons from this negative polarity, they will enter base and will be attracted by the positive polarity, and this way circuit will work. But now at present, here no battery voltages are given and transistor corrections are only shown. Now what is transistor working in cutoff region, that let us consider. See, when base emitter voltage, that is VBE, is made 0. So remember that here it is to this transistor. This is the transistor. Let us consider here it is the transistor, and to which this N region is there, in which majority carriers are electrons, and now we are connecting the negative polarity to this battery, and here to this N type of region, this is P type of region. So now here the electrons in this battery will repel these electrons in this direction, but we see here it is VBE is equal to 0. So VB is equal to 0 means this junction, that is a base emitter junction, is not forward bias, it is reverse bias. So no electron can enter the P region, and consequently it cannot enter the N region. And so that is why from this terminal, this point to this point, that means from emitter to collector, no current flows because of the resistance between emitter and collector is infinite, and so this is called as a cutoff region. So here the battery is there connected between base and collector. It is a reverse bias junction. So as forward bias voltaging of base emitter junction is 0, no current can flow from emitter to collector. But now see, here we have connected VCB is equal to 10 volt. So as VB is 0, base emitter junction is not forward bias and electrons cannot flow through the junction. So through this junction, because of this is not forward bias, enough potential is not given. Here VCB is equal to 10 volt, but base collector junction is reverse bias and electron can not flow through the junction because of this junction is reverse bias. So that is why note that resistance between emitter and collector, this is infinite, and when infinite resistance is there, it acts as a open switch, in which we saw this is not connected to this. So that is the case. But now let us consider transistor as an on state, how it works. So here it is, see now what we are going, that we are applying VB which is greater than knee voltage. Here it is a barrier potential, and knee voltage is the minimum voltage required to overcome the barrier potential. So that knee voltage is connected here. So that means this junction gets forward bias. So obviously when it becomes forward bias, electron starts to move from negative terminal to N region. They repel these electrons in this direction. So obviously these electrons will enter this region, and some of the electrons will attracted by positive polarity of this battery, and here you see VCB is equal to 10 volt. That means this junction, base collector junction, is reverse bias, and here it is positive polarity. So positive polarity will attract electrons which are present in this region, and so here it is. But when VBE is greater than knee voltage, base emitter junction is forward bias and electron flow through junction. So how it happens, let us consider. And this positive polarity will attract the electrons entering this. So look carefully. Here the electrons entering emitter region, these are then repelled and enter the P region and N region. Some of them are going to base terminal, and most of them are attracted by the positive polarity, and here you see the light is glowing. So that means if we consider this is A point and this is B point, now the current is flowing between A and B point, and it acts as a closed switch. That is important thing. So remember that when transistor is working in saturation region, so it acts as a on state switch. So this is a basic idea of transistor as a switch. So in this case, when large current is flowing from this point to this point, that is emitter to collector, so resistance between collector and emitter is 0, and it acts as a good conducting path. So here you see, as we saw in the circuit, this is VCC. So let us consider, this was the figure, here it is NPN. So this collector is connected to positive terminal. So here it is shown, the collector is connected to positive terminal through the collector current control resistance RC is connected, and here we are measuring the collector current IC. So now here it is, then base emitter voltage is connected between base and emitter, that is VBE, and that Vin is equal to 0. That means here what we are doing, that is N is connected to negative, and here this voltage is 0 and this is equal to VCC. So here transistor has switch. Now as base emitter junction is not forward bias, this is not forward bias, so that is why the resistance between collector and emitter is very high, and that resistance is infinite. So here you see, this is collector and emitter, the resistance is very high. So as the resistance is very high, collector current IC is equal to 0, and here whatever voltage VCC applied, the total voltage appears across this, that is voltage between collector and emitter is equal to VCE, that is equal to VCC. So note that when transistor base emitter junction is not forward bias, collector emitter resistance is infinite, and voltage across collector emitter, that infinite resistance, is equal to VCC. So that is the case, and this shows that the transistor acts as a open switch, or that is called as a off state, and therefore output voltage, here output voltage is 0, but the collector current is 0. Now here in this case, here it is VCC. So now here we'll see that what is the value of this VCE? So VCE is equal to collector emitter voltage is equal to VCC plus ICRC. Okay, but as this is infinite resistance now when it is reverse bias, so no collector current flows, that IC is equal to 0, and therefore we get VCE is exactly equal to VCC. That total voltage is now appearing across collector emitter. So that is a off state. Now here let us consider on state. So in case of on state, here V in, that is voltage across VB, that instead of 0 we are using it 5 volt. Okay, so once it is a higher potential, this junction will become forward bias. It will conduct, and once it conducts, that this resistance drops almost equal to 0 and large number of current flows. Now see, when this resistance drops to 0, the large number of electrons enter here, and these electrons are attracted by this positive polarity. That means now electrons are flowing from this region to this region, and now the resistance between collector and emitter is 0. So now here when it is forward bias, this resistance is 0, and we know that voltage is equal to I into R, but resistance between collector and emitter is equal to 0. So 0 into anything, that is equal to 0, and therefore voltage appearing across collector and emitter, that is VC, is equal to 0 volt. Now the large current is flowing, so this resistance is 0, and another resistance in the circuit is RC. So therefore IC is equal to VCC upon RC. This much collector current will flow, and that is called as a IC saturation. So from figure, IC is equal to IC saturation, and that is equal to VCC upon RC, and voltage across collector emitter is 0, and the switch acts as a closed switch and large current flows. This is a basic idea and action of transistor acting as a switch in on state. So see, there are some advantages of electronic switch. That is, first thing, there is no moving parts, so little tear and wear and noiseless operation, since it is a solid state device made of semiconducting material. So this is the case. Its size is very, very small, as well as weight is also very small. It gives trouble-free service because of solid state device, and it is having little maintenance, and it is very cheaper. This is another advantage. An important thing is that it is very fast. That means we can turn it on and off 10⁹ times per second. So its on off time is very, very small. These are the advantages of electronic switch. So this is all about how transistor acts as a switch. Now let us consider the another type of transistor called as a unijunction transistor. So see, here it is, we are talking about unijunction. So see, already we saw that is BJT, that is bipolar junction transistor, in which we know that there it is, say N region, P region and N region. This is NPN type of transistor. So between these two regions, this is junction 1 and this is junction 2. So there are two junctions, that is P-type material sandwiched between N-type material, and this is bipolar junction transistor. Now here it is called as a unipolar junction transistor. So remember that here when connections are made, here charges flows from N region to P region and then P region to N region. But in this case of unijunction transistor, remember that a single bar of N-type material is taken, that is N-type bar, and most important thing is it is very lightly doped. So that means very few number of free charge carriers are available in this N-type material, and that is why its resistance is very, very high in the beginning. So whenever we connect battery, a very small amount of current flows. It is not a good conducting device. Here another part is there, that is a P-type material. So here P-type material, it is very heavily doped. and connections are, one side of this bar is called as a B1, that is base 1, another is B2, base 2, and the P region is called emitter region. So this way it has 3 terminals like our BJT. Okay, and this is symbol of unijunction transistor, that is B1, B2 and emitter. Note that the right arrow is here indicating the conventional current direction and it is somewhat tilted. So this region is lightly doped. P region is heavily doped, that is important thing. Now here unijunction transistor operation, how it operates. So remember that here the voltage is applied between 2 terminals of base B1 and B2, that is VBB, and initially let us consider no emitter voltage, that is voltage between emitter and B1 is connected. So obviously when here voltage is not provided, this P and N junction is not forward bias, that is first case. Now here whenever we connect VBB across B1 and B2, the potential gradient forms. That means this total voltage VBB appears across this bar. So remember that if this is the bar and we are connecting some voltage VBB, let us consider it is 10 volt. So this 10 volt will appear across this complete bar, that is having certain resistance. So it appears. But remember here that the point where P material is doped here, so this length is larger and this is smaller. So resistance between this part is higher than this part. It is not at center, remember that. So obviously the voltage across this resistance is more than voltage across this resistance. Let us consider this is RB1 resistance to B1 side and this is RB2. So this way when VBB is applied, potential gradient is formed across N bar, that means voltage appears. So here the applied voltage, let us consider it is 10 volt, it is appearing across the bar. So let us consider this is a 30% length and this is 70% length. So we can just imagine that 7 volt is across this and 3 volt is across this. Now voltage V1 between B1 and emitter establishes reverse bias. So now here it is, what is happening? Here we have emitter region and now we saw that here we have got 7 volt. So now here it is, this is N region. So when N region is having 7 volt and P region has 0 volt, so it is appearing as if this is N side which has this potential is 7 volt and to this side it is 0 volt. That means cathode is at higher potential and anode is at lower potential. So this way we can say this diode is reverse bias. So it establishes reverse bias on the PN junction. So now this is the voltage which I have shown here. This is actually appearing and which make this PN junction reverse bias. So no current will flow through this PN junction. So emitter is cut off and only very small leakage current flows through the junction. So we know that due to minority charge carriers in every reverse bias junction the current flows, but that is negligible, almost it is equal to 0. So here now what we are going to do, that instead of connecting 0 volt to this, we are applying certain voltage VE. But remember that if we want to conduct this diode, already we saw the V1 is voltage between this point and B1. We assumed it 7 volt. So here the voltage must be greater than this 7 volt plus the voltage required for overcoming the knee voltage. So that means if this VE is greater than that volt, then and only then this diode will become forward bias. So now we are increasing or connecting VE. So let VE be applied. So when VE is less than V1, so VE is less than this voltage V1, so let us, it is 5 volt suppose, so this is already 7, so still the diode is not forward bias, it remains reverse bias. But when this VE is greater than this 7 volt, obviously plus the new voltage of the diode or barrier potential of the diode, so the junction becomes forward bias and large current flows through junction. So current starts to flow through junction, it becomes forward bias. Now remember that this is P region in which majority charge carriers are holes. We saw, again remember one thing important, see there it is a large resistance between B1 and B2, that is one thing. This region is smaller, this is larger, so its resistance is large. Okay, and now what is happening, when this becomes forward bias, it will force holes into this region. So as current carriers are increasing in this region, its resistance decreases. Okay, so when this voltage is increasing, remember that emitter current is increasing and the resistance of the bar is decreasing. That is important thing. So becomes forward bias and large current flows through junction. So here, due to this forward biasing, the holes are now entered in P region, this N region, and now the resistance of N region decreases. So that is important thing. So here when resistance of this region decreases, remember that voltage across this region also decreases. This is a concept of negative resistance region. Remember that here current IE is increasing, due to that the holes are entering this N region, but the more number of holes, the resistance of the bar decreases, and ultimately the voltage across that bar is also decreasing. So here current is increasing and voltage is decreasing, so this region shows the negative resistance characteristics. So equivalent circuit we are talking about. See, as we saw here, it is bar from B1, B2 to B1. So here the emitter is situated. So resistance between this point and RB1, B1 is RB1 and this point, and B2 is RB2. So we are connecting VBB. So when VE is applied, then when this V is greater than voltage at this point plus barrier potential of the diode, the current will start to flow. So when current will flow, the charges will be transferred to N region and its resistance will decrease. Ultimately voltage across this resistance will decrease. So resistance between B1 and B2 is called interbase resistance. So the resistance between B1 and B2, that is RB1 plus RB2, it is called as a interbase resistance, denoted by RBB. So RBB value in case of unijunction transistor lies between 4K to 10 kilo ohm. Then RB1 is greater than RB2, that remember. When emitter is open, voltage drop across RB1 is V1, that we already saw. When no voltage is given, this voltage appears across B1 to B2, but voltage across RB1 is greater than RB2, and voltage across RB1 is called as a V1. So this, from this thing, according to using voltage divider theorem, we know that if we have two resistances connected to some battery, and if we want to find out the resistance voltage across R2, then we know that voltage across R2 is equal to R2 upon R1 plus R2 into V. So similarly here voltage across RB1 is equal to, here remember this is RB1, it is a typing mistake, and this is RB2. So here it is voltage across RB1 is equal to RB1 divided by both resistance, that is RB1 plus RB2 into applied voltage VBB. But we know that voltage across this resistance RB1 is V1. So V1 divided by VBB is equal to RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2. Note that this is RB1, typing mistake is there, and here it is RB2. So here V1 upon VBB is equal to RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2, and it is denoted by eta. It is called as a intrinsic standoff ratio of unijunction transistor. So this is very important for designing the oscillators and everything and studying unijunction transistor. So eta is less than 1 and lies between 0.5 to 0.81. So here it is, we saw eta is equal to RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2. So the diode becomes forward bias when VE becomes peak point voltage VP. So remember that here it is, note that this is RB1, this is RB2. So the diode becomes forward bias when VE becomes peak voltage. Remember that when we apply voltage, so here already there it is a voltage V1 due to VB1, and VD for silicon is 0.7. So 0.7 plus V1, when VE is greater than this VD plus V1, the current will start to flow, and that is called as a peak point voltage VP. So VP is equal to V1 plus VD, and VP is equal to eta times VBB, since we know that V1, relation of V1 and eta. So V1 is equal to eta times VBB plus VD. The value of VD is 0.7. We know the value of eta. It lies between 0.5 to 0.81. So we get VP. So let us consider UJT characteristics. So here we are applying VE. So this is RB1, this is RB2, this is VBB. Now remember that when VE will be applied and when VE is greater than voltage across this, that is V1 plus, for silicon VD is 7. So VD plus V1. If V is greater than that, the current will start to flow IE. So we are talking about the current flowing through emitter, that is IE, and voltage applied VE. So here, see, this is the axis on which we are plotting IE. Normally you see whenever we talk about IV characteristics, here we plot V and we plot I. But in case of unijunction transistor, in order to properly explain or depict the negative resistance region, we are considering the current IE on this x-axis, and here it is, we are talking about emitter voltage. So here this is VE. Now what is happening? See here, when VE is absent, that is V is equal to 0. So remember that when V is equal to 0, this diode is reverse bias, because of already here voltage is V1, higher voltage at negative. But due to reverse bias, small amount of leakage current flows, and that is, we know that V is already 0, still current is flowing. So that is leakage current is shown. So remember that IE is increasing from this to this level. Okay, this is called as a leakage current, and here corresponding VE is there. So now if we increase VE, so what happens? This region, when V is equal to 0 and small amount of current flows, that is IE. Okay, so that is called as a leakage current, and it is on the left of the 0 axis, remember that. So when V is increased, this is leakage current. When VE is further increased, diode becomes forward bias. That means when VE is equal to and greater than V1 plus VD, the actual current flows through this, and that this way the current increases. Now this current is called as a peak current. The current is IP and the voltage corresponding to is called as a VP. But now remember that once the current starts to flow, we already saw this is UJT. When current starts to flow through this region, holes are being injected in this region, and due to that the resistance of this bar decreases. Okay, so now what is happening? A large current flows, but resistance of this bar decreases, and correspondingly voltage also decreases. So look carefully. Now here the more electrons are injected. Remember that current is increasing from IP in this direction. Okay, but voltage is decreasing. Got it? So that is important, that voltage is decreasing, and this is called as a negative resistance region. So now it comes to some fixed point, that is called as a valley current IV. Okay, and later on the current starts increasingly. That is what this. So these are 2 points. This is a peak point, this is valley point. So here current IP is corresponding to VP and IV is corresponding to valley point, and this region in which you see that from graph it is clear that V is decreasing and I is increasing. According to Ohm's law, we know that V is equal to IR. So when V is equal to IR, when V increases, I should increase, but this is not the case here. See, from IP to IV current is increasing, but during that voltage is decreasing, and this is why it is called as a negative resistance region, that you remember. So this is valley point. Here this region is called as a negative resistance region in case of UJT. Here this region is called as a saturation region of the UJT. So this is all about the characteristics of unijunction transistor. Now let us consider use of UJT as a relaxation oscillator. So we know that oscillation means what? So we know this is oscillation, so which has specific period, that is T. We know that F is equal to 1 upon T also, and oscillations are there. So this UJT is actually working as sawtooth wave oscillator. That is what and how it can be. So see, here it is a circuit of unijunction transistor. So this is unijunction transistor, this is B1, B2 and ammeter. So here two resistors R1 and R2 are current limiting resistors which are used to control the current or limit the current, and UJT as a relaxation oscillator. So see, if oscillations are there, frequency is there, and frequency is decided by this resistance R and C. Actually these are responsible for this. Now see what is happening. We already know that here it is output is taken across capacitor. So remember that when VCC is applied, so initially remember that voltage at base is 0. So ammeter base junction is reverse bias. Okay, so this voltage is 0. So voltage across capacitor is 0. So first condition is that initially capacitor is discharged. That means voltage, this wave is nothing but the output. So voltage across capacitor is 0. Now when voltage is connected, slowly capacitor starts charging. So when it charges, so this charging is shown here. This is charging. So this voltage increases, and time comes when this voltage is greater than the voltage V1 across this and VD. We know that it is 0.7 for silicon. If it is greater than that, we know that emitter current starts flowing and charges holes are entered in this base region. Okay, so that is clear. When it becomes conducting, it has a low resistance, and this capacitor, that means at Vp it starts conducting, and once this path is now conducting, it is forward bias, the capacitor starts discharging through emitter and B1 through resistance R1 to ground. So it discharges. So now when it discharges, a time comes that valley point occurs. Okay, so that means now the potential across capacitor is not enough to keep this junction forward bias, and this junction becomes reverse bias. And that is why once it is reverse bias, no charge can move from capacitor to this base B1. So again VCC charges this capacitor, and again charging is taking place. So in this way, again when it reaches to Vp, again capacitor starts discharging through emitter and B1 because of it is forward bias, and the cycle is continuously going on. So this way we get sawtooth wave, and this is called as a UJT, as a relaxation oscillator. Okay, so the period and frequency of sawtooth wave can be calculated as, so we saw that initially capacitor is fully discharged. So voltage across capacitor at any instant of time can be given by equation Vc is equal to applied voltage VBB into 1 minus e raised to minus t upon RC. So we know that is R and this t, and this is a time. The discharge occurs when Vc is equal to Vp. Remember that when voltage across capacitor, that is Vc, becomes equal to Vp, discharging starts. Okay, so that you know the discharge occurs when Vc is equal to Vp, but we know that Vp is equal to eta times VBB. We know that intrinsic standoff ratio and relation of Vp, that is eta times VBB. So therefore here Vc is equal to Vp and Vp is equal to eta VBB. So eta times VBB is equal to VBB 1 minus into 1 minus e raised to minus t upon RC. So from this we get VBB gets cancelled. So eta is equal to 1 minus e raised to t minus t upon minus t upon RC, or e raised to minus t upon RC is equal to 1 minus eta. And from this equation, this is exponential term, so t upon RC is equal to natural log ln of 1 upon 1 minus eta. So here we have to find out the period or frequency. So t is equal to, RC goes to this side, t is equal to RC times, this is natural log ln of 1 upon 1 minus eta, and therefore frequency is equal to 1 upon t. So frequency of this relaxation oscillator is equal to 1 upon RC times log of 1 upon 1 minus eta. So if you want to design unijunctional transistor oscillator for particular frequency, so we must know what is the eta of that UJT that is given in the data, and according to frequency select the capacitor and find out the value of resistance, and if you connect that R and C in the circuit, you will get the oscillations of that frequency, where you know that eta is intrinsic standoff ratio. So this is how unijunction transistor acts as a relaxation oscillator, and it gives us a sawtooth waveform. Okay, thank you very much.